another laboratory, the biotechnology center is in Mysore. So they try to do some support the breeding activities by some sort of biotechnological research, the tissue culture and other some sort of molecular work. And in addition to the main station, we have 5 regional stations because, as you know, the coffee is spread over some 5 states predominantly, and the 3 is southern states and also one other areas which are predominantly under a social perspective. We are developing in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha is also in southern part only. So there also we have no coffee. So for to cater the needs of all these stations, we have 5 stations, regional stations. One is in Coorg, one is in Tamil Nadu, one is in Kerala, one is in Andhra Pradesh, one is in extreme eastern part, that's Assam also is there. So northeast region. So like that we have different our. They mostly concentrate on location specific technologies in a revalidation of the technologies developed here, and they try to recommend for the location specific requirements. That is very brief in terms of Arabica. Then maybe predominantly most of you might be interested in the Robusta, in fact, maybe. And as far as the Robusta is concerned, we didn't have much problem in terms of Robusta for the growing in Indian soil. That we have an advantage in terms of compared to other coffee growing countries. Our elevations are high for Robusta. We grow in little higher elevations. And the second one, the shade grown cultivation. These two helps in getting a very good quality attributes to our Indian Robustas. That's why Indian Robustas are being regarded as one of the best Robustas in the world. Whereas we don't have that strength for Arabica, but we have that strength for Robusta. So that's the reason why, because even though India started as Arabica growing country, for a long time we maintained the 50-50 balance in terms of area and production. But now there is a gradual shift towards Robusta, not only in India but elsewhere in the world. People are they're slowly moving toward Robusta for various reasons. One being because, as you know, that the climate change implications are there, and the Robusta is Arabica is more vulnerable than Robusta for this. That's why people are looking for the Robusta cultivation is literally easier than the Arabica. We have the pest flare-ups, disease flare-ups in Central American countries. The rust is flaring up now, and so that's the reason one. And the second one is, of course, what we also maybe the other indirect reason is that it is not only the problem-driven shift but also the price-driven shift. Because now earlier days there is almost like the difference between Arabica and Robusta prices is huge. It's at almost 50% difference was there, but now they are almost on par. So that's why, because in India being a good quality Robustas, we always get premiums for the price. That's why because of the price also people are easy to cultivate, and also they get easy to get the consistent production compared to Arabica. Third is, of course, the price advantage is also there. So because of these reasons, there is Indian planters are preferring a Robusta. Wherever it is possible, they are trying to expand Robusta. That means the Arabica areas are being converted to the Robusta, especially in the transition altitudes, maybe something around 2,800 to 3,400. These are the areas where our Indian Robustas are grown predominantly. Or Arabica, both place suitable like these Balhenur areas and otherwise nearby all where you came across. Such type of areas are being converted to the Robusta. Okay, that is what is happening across the industry. But as far as the R&D is concerned, we are since beginning, even though we have some developed in Robusta, we have developed 3 improved varieties for Robusta. Unlike Arabica, we had a good choice, but Robusta is limited. Why? Because the intake from the planters is very less, slow, because Robusta is considered to be a century plant, in the sense the economic life is very long. Almost like you will get 60 to 80 years, you can still get the good crop, provided your management is good. That's the reason why normally in a planter's lifetime, we never dream of replanting Robusta, only his children. So that's the reason why the replacement of varieties is slow compared to the Arabica. So even though we have developed some 3 improved lines, because most of our focus in our Robusta breeding is towards the quality. Because even the varieties were introduced from Java, that olden days, or through Sri Lanka, a place called Peridenia. It's from Java to Peridenia, Peridenia to India, like that we had some old Robusta. So these type of Robustas, still we occupy 50% of the area. Not remaining, only our improved selections only remaining 50%. So that's the reason why, because there is no problem in that varieties except for the bean size. Bean size is small. So our breeding programs, initially we were focusing on improving the bean size. So when we succeeded in developing a variety called 274, which is popularly called a selection Robusta, which is having almost 50 to 55% of the A grade beans. Even though Robusta is treated as AB, We used to have that good percentage of A grade beans. And the second, once we stabilize, we try to do some clonal selection and make some BR series, but it's not very popular. But the third variety, what we call as Cungensis robusta variety, is very popular because of its unique cup profiles. Because there we try to improve the cup profile of the robusta by crossing with Cungensis. So this variety is a compact variety and which can be accommodated more population per unit area. It can be planted by 9 by 9 and it gives very unique cup. In addition to the bean size also, because almost 60 to 65% of the beans we get A grade, which stands on 6.6 mmC. So that is a now very good value addition in this variety. So that's why this variety, even though we just released it initially in late 1970s and then further stabilized in late 80s, now only it is taking off. Why? Because there is a planters are interested to replant Robustas and also trying to convert Arabica to the Robusta. That's the reason why this demand for Robusta is gradually increasing for the last maybe 10 years onwards. Okay. So this C-into-R variety is considered one of the best variety that we have in terms of Robusta, both in terms of, because if you compare on a given agronomic practices, the differences between the production may not be significant between the old Robusta and the improved varieties. Maybe 100 kgs that side, this side. But in terms of quality, there is a very good incremental increase in terms of improved selections compared to the old Robusta varieties, what they introduced in 19th century. So that and because in terms of both the bean size as well as the liquor, the beverage qualities of the Robusta is really remarkable in terms of this thing. And even the washed Robustas, especially the washed, they seem to are having another advantage because it's the high mucilage content, easy to pulp it and prepare washed coffees, washed Robustas. Because even though we have in India almost like 80% of the Robusta is being converted to cherry, only 20% is only used for the washed coffees. So in that sense also, because olden days we used to have to soak this Robusta, old Robusta, because of the less mucilage content overnight, then only they are amenable for pulping. Next day morning they used to pulp. But as seen to the same day you can pulp, so that the quality can be retained. So these are the advantages. The washed Sintar looks like Arabica. It's very easy to mislead. That is an advantage of Sintar. So these are the very, now we are focusing and of course subsequently we are also trying to have the current focus is on developing some sort of drought tolerance, because Robusta performance is good, but unfortunately the natural resources are depleting day by day. The water, unless you have the water, assured water or assured irrigation for Indian conditions, difficult to grow Robusta. That's the reason why we are trying to address some of these problems and identify some sort of drought tolerant lines or anything. That is the current focus. But these are the in addition, of course, predominantly in terms of breeding perspective. In addition to that, we also try to address some of these the industry's requirement in terms of the technical services, because the institute also cater to the needs of the growers in terms of the soil analysis and giving the soil-based analysis-based recommendations. In addition to the supply of parasitoids and such type of things for the biocontrol measures. So all these type of aspects we try to extend our services. And also this is the institute which supplies the entire seed demand of the industry. Almost per every year we almost give 10,000 kgs, that means 10 metric tons of seed to the industry, both Arabica and Robusta together. So like that we also extend good services to industry. In addition to that, we also conduct training programs to all stakeholders, not only to the estate managers and the management level, and also the estate workers and also the financial institutions. For all these type of stakeholders, we conduct training here. We have a different type of modules starting from 1 week and 12 days and 1 month program, depending on to the tailor-made this thing for the stakeholders. Depending on this, we try to give some training programs so that their knowledge will be on the cultivation aspect will be updated regularly. This is this thing, because nowadays there is a lot of youngsters are showing interest, because initially they went for education outside and they are trying to come back and settle down on the plantations then. So they try to have some sort of base information and all these things, because now that is one of the critical area we're also now rendering the service. So that is very brief in terms of the institute activities. And of course, it may not be a real R&D institution, but it's more of service-oriented organization. Not only doing some sort of basic R&D and also transferring into the most of applied oriented research. That's why, and of course we have our own limitations in terms of the location, as you all know, because we are um, environmentally nice location, but a little bit remote when it considered to be other urban life. So that's why people try to a little bit reluctant sometimes, because in terms of education, in terms of health issues and other things. But otherwise, it's a nice place to live and also to work on the coffee.